Hello everyone and welcome on a conference dedicated to the XTPL financial results for the first half of 2025 and the strategy for 2026-2028 adopted yesterday. My name is Martiniusz Maćkowiak and I represent CC Group, an investor relations advisor to XTPL. Together with me, we have Management Board of XTPL, Mr. Filip Granek, Chief Executive Officer, and Mr. Jacek Olszański, Chief Financial Officer. The meeting will be divided into two parts, an investor presentation and a Q&A session. I encourage you to ask questions and wish you a successful meeting. Mr. Filip Granek, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much and welcome to the half-year results presentation. I'm Filip Granek.
I'm Jacek Olszański, hello.
So we're happy to walk you through the agenda for today. We will start with a short summary of the highlights. Then I will give you a deeper insight into the activities around business development. Jacek will walk you through the financial results, and then together me and Jacek will give you an update on our strategy as was updated yesterday and published yesterday. So starting with executive summary, the key achievements over the past period. I will start with the industrial implementation progress. This is the key driver for our long-term growth. So we are successfully continuing the first industrial implementation of our technology. We already delivered 4 out of 6 UPD modules to our Chinese customer, and the first modules are already implemented into large industrial machines and installed on the production floor of the leading flat panel display manufacturer in China. And the technology is now really operating in the field. We are really happy about these developments. Earlier today, we announced a progress in a new industrial project with a customer in China, also equipment manufacturer who serves to flat panel display and semiconductor industry. We're really happy about broadening of our industrial pipeline with this new project. Recently, we also announced that we are going to supply another UPD module to the NASDAQ 100 company from US, our partner in the industrial evaluation since already quite some time. So the project is progressing, and we're really happy that the customer is now ordering another a little bit more sophisticated UPD module after the initial evaluations. And we are exploring collaboration with a partner in Spain, in Europe, around automotive and consumer electronic applications, and we are always happy if there is an industrial traction with European customers. In terms of our Delta printing system devices, I want to highlight the 2 key new customers. One is University of Cambridge, a very well-known scientific institution, and also University of Massachusetts at Lowell. So it's close to Boston University. But interesting thing is that this particular research group is actually a research group focused on printed electronics, and it's fully financed by Raytheon company, which is a defense contractor in US. So we're really happy that this brings traction and attention of our technology also to this type of players. Earlier this year, we delivered for the first time in our history our Delta printing system to a defense contractor in US. This company is already working with our technology, progressing with their evaluations, and we're quite excited about the traction of the defense industry that is growing over the last months. Finally, we're continuing our development of the new product, Delta Printing System Plus, DPS Plus, which we expect to get the first purchase orders in still this year, but the delivery and the revenue recognition will be in the next year, in the year 26. Finally, the strategy update, we are updating our target of achieving 100 million Polish zloty in commercial revenue from the year 26 to the year 28. The postponing of achieving this goal is the result of our observations of how the development of the first industrialization project is developing, what is the dynamic in this process, and how it will most probably translate into the dynamic of other industrial projects that we're working. It seems they will be less steep in the beginning, in the first period. They will be a little bit more slower in the uptake. So we need more time to achieve this strategic goal. And at the same time, because the revenue uptake will take longer, we will need to cover a financial gap, and that is recognized for the second half of next year. And we're already exploring multiple options for securing the financing, the debt financing, the R&D grants, strategic investor, and new share emission to the new capital increase.
The key numbers of the first half 2025 are 5.1 million in sales revenues, similar to the last year, 4.2 million inventory with the potential to generate approximately 10 million in sales, close to 16 million cash position at the end of the June 2025. 4 DPS is delivered, so it means more than 40 DPS is on the market, and 3 modules delivered, and a growing number of devices operating on the test and production lines of electronics manufacturers.
So let us dive into the business development section of the presentation. As you know, the technology XTPL developed the technology of high precision dispensing for microelectronics. Since earlier this year, we are in the first industrialization of the technology, and we successfully made the move from lab to fab. We're incubating 10 industrial projects with the annual revenue potential of up to 400 million Polish zloty annual revenue potential. And we're at the stage where we're about to accelerate our revenue growth up to 100 million Polish zloty from roughly 10 million Polish zloty a couple of years ago, towards the end of the year 28. What is supporting our growth is, on one hand, is the growing and the well-developing markets which we are targeting, and on the other hand, already established products and business lines and established traction with the right customers. So XTPL already delivers its products and services to over 20 countries, and we're doing it independently and with collaboration with our growing distributor base, which is now 19 distribution partners that are helping us at this stage, mostly growing our pipeline of opportunities, but ultimately it will also convert into growth of sales. And it's quite natural that in the beginning phase, the distributors are growing opportunities. We're together expanding them, but only after a certain time they will convert into growth of sales. In the box on the right-hand side, you will see also how the visibility and recognition of our technology is growing over time. And in this particular case, we're showing how the number of scientific publications published by the users of our technology is growing over time. And this is usually a good sign if the technology is being adopted first in academia, and academia researches new applications for the technology that can later convert into commercialization deals for us. And for example, in the year 24, there was a first publication focused on XTPL technology application into the automotive sector. And now in the year 25, we announced that we have a new partner in Spain who is exploring our technology for his customers who are customers in the automotive industry. So that shows this strategy is working in terms of engaging with scientific customers as well. Now, our portfolio of products, you may already know, it's equipment and materials that are upselling materials to deliver consumable parts to the users of our products. And I will walk you through the developments of each of this product line on the market. So starting maybe with the first industrial implementation of our technology. It's a historical milestone that started earlier this year, but it's a milestone that is not a one day in life of the company, but it's a period of time where the first industrialization is taking place, and that's with the partner in China in the area of high resolution flat panel display. And earlier this year, we had a purchase order for the first 6 systems. Out of that, 4 have already been delivered to our customer, and the additional 2 will be delivered by the end of the year. And after that, we expect another order, because in totality, we expect this opportunity to be a roughly tens of systems, maybe up to 50 systems in total, to be delivered to the end customer over the period of next years. The project is ongoing well. The first machines are already installed in the production line, as I mentioned earlier, and they are working correctly. So that already helps us to generate the right, also word of mouth, the right information on the market about the maturity of the technology, of XTPL technology, and its high readiness level to work with industrial type of customers and industrial type of challenges. So that's something we're really proud of and excited about this development. At the same time, the focus is not only on the first industrial project, but also on growing the pipeline of potential projects that will also convert into industrialization over time. And we have now 10 pretty advanced projects, or projects at the pretty advanced stage of evaluation, and their total opportunity size, based on our estimation, is that all of them together, if fully implemented, would generate up to 400 million Polish zloty annual revenue. So that's a significant potential of our already existing pipeline of projects. In terms of the most advanced projects, I already mentioned the one that went live into industrialization. There are 4 additional ones, and earlier today we announced there is actually a new industrialization project at the advanced pre-industrialization stage. This is a project also with a Chinese customer who is serving flat panel display and semiconductor industry partners in China. So that's exciting because it's a pretty new development and already reaches this stage of building a prototype machine based on our technology. We have also recently showed that or announced that there is another UPD module being ordered by Nasdaq 100 company, which is evaluating our technology already for a while. And after the first evaluation phase, the outcomes are positive, and the customer wants to go deeper into evaluation and ordered a little bit modified with extended specification module, which we are working on right now, and we expect to deliver it to the customer by the end of this calendar year. In August, we also announced that there is a new collaboration with a Spanish, in Spain, partner in Europe, who is automation expert building industrial equipment for customer electronics and automotive customers. We're quite happy to have a European industrialization partner focused on European industrialization end customers. The temperature and the dynamic of this project are very promising, so we're looking forward for these developments. Now, moving on to the Delta printing system developments, as Jacek already mentioned, we have over 40 systems historically already ordered by international customers. So this business line is progressing well. Earlier this year, we delivered the first system to University of Cambridge, the first system to defense contractor in US, which is a significant milestone in our history, that we're not only being evaluated for some of the defense applications, but there are already purchasing decisions being made by these customers. And I also want to highlight that there is a university in US, University of Massachusetts at Lowell, where a laboratory financed by Raytheon, a US defense contractor, also acquired a Delta printing system earlier this year. All of the key components to manufacture this product are sourced in Europe. So we do not have a big supply chain dependencies with other geographies, which limits our geopolitical, let's say, vulnerability of this product. And also, we're in the advanced stage of outsourcing this product to contract manufacturing partner, because we believe this product is already quite mature. We can work with an external partner who can help us scale the production capacities, and we can redirect our internal production capacity to manufacture growing number of UPD modules because of the industrialization traction going well. Our new product under development is the Delta Printing System Plus. That's still a code name. It's not a product name that will be finally launched. It's a more automated platform than our Delta Printing System Plus, but it's not designed for mass production like our UPD modules for large-scale industrialization. It's designed for customers who want to work on high-mix, low-volume manufacturing projects, and this is where we are now in quite advanced evaluations from the first potential customers to buy this system, also around the defense industry, especially in US. And our guideline for this year is that we expect the first systems to be purchased, to be ordered at XTPL, but the delivery and the revenue recognition for the system will be taking place next year. The interesting part about this product is that it's at least twice as more expensive as the Delta Printing System, so it has a bigger potential to generate high revenue already for over one single unit. But the even more attractive part is that usually the customers who are buying this type of systems are not buying just one. In academia, our customers are usually buying one system and usually that's it. But here, most customers are thinking, I will buy one, then maybe I will buy two, and ultimately maybe I need 5 or 10 systems in one facility or spread geographically around different locations. So we believe this will be one of the interesting growth engines for XTPL starting from the year 26. Now, we also are working intensively to grow the recognition and the awareness of the global microelectronics market about XTPL technology. You will see on the left-hand side the list of the events, targeted conferences or trade shows that XTPL is visiting or will visit in the near future. That's our effort to be visible to the potential future acquirers of our technology, our potential customers, and we're still working hard to be on the radars and on the map of customers in the selected industries. Maybe the one interesting point that is new to our development is that we, for the first time, decided to be present on the defense-focused trade show. We were invited to participate in the JDAMIT in US. It's a defense event focused on additive manufacturing. So a pretty targeted event, and XTPL was one of a few companies that were displaying live their solutions. So our printer was there, and we were doing live demonstrations to the potential customers. And what we see is that there is actually growing interest in the defense industry over our technology in 3 areas. One is specialized electromagnetic protection, EMI shielding applications. The second one is high frequency communications, 5G and sub-terahertz communications, and ultimately also capabilities of doing local repairs of modern electronic components closer to the field of combat, not far away in factories somewhere, but really in, let's say, movable printers that can be not far away from the combat space, which makes the repair more efficient and faster. So these are interesting new insights that we have recognized in this industry.
Okay, let's start the financial part. And the sales, as I said earlier, our commercial sales revenue amounted to 5.1 million and was 500,000 lower than the first half of 2024. And this is not a result that satisfies us. We had assumed higher sales plan, and there are several reasons. The first is trade war in US and freezing of grants for the scientific institution by the US administration. At the beginning of the year, our American companies' sales pipeline include a significant share of universities and scientific entities as a customers for DPS. Most of them reported a freeze on funds and delay of orders for DPS. This doesn't mean a loss of sales. We can see that this market is slowly returning. From the other side, we recognized new group of potential attractive customers. I mean, entities from defense sector. We sold the first DPS to the defense contractor, and further discussions are underway not only about DPS but also DPS Plus, and the first order for this device this year is possible. Sales of printing modules for industrial application also didn't meet our expectations, either in terms of the first historical implementation or in the case of the other projects at the lower level of evaluation. You can see also the revenue from grants, but this is related to the settlement of the grants for assets gradually disclosed in accordance with depreciation. We have no new grants. We are applying to projects, but for today we have no cash from the new grants. Our operating costs reflect the transformation of XTPL from an R&D company into the business organization with production facilities, strong sales structures, and units managing products, projects, and IP. This is the result of investment process from the end of 2023. The organizational changes were just as important as the success of the technology evaluation, because the customer had to be convinced not only that our technology is effective, but also that the entire organization will be a reliable supplier for the industry. Since the pace of the commercialization is not what we expected, we had to make adjustments and optimize our operating expenses without losing the growth engine that is the organization. Please note the average monthly operating costs, excluding depreciation, are down compared to the last year, both for the first half of the year and for the second quarter. And this savings will increase in the third quarter. At the same time, we are optimizing working capital and investments. Currently, we have no high demand in investments. However, sales don't yet fully cover our costs, which is why our cash flow is still negative. Cash at the end of June amounted to 15.8 million. And with a conservative approach, this is the value that secures our operation until the second quarter of the next year. This graph clearly illustrates our cash flow and shows how much of an impact the slower than expected pace of commercialization has on our situation.
Now, moving to the third part of our agenda today, it's the update of our strategy. You may remember we adopted a 3-year strategy for the years 2023 to 2026, and we are progressing well with most of the key goals that we set for ourselves in this strategy. We're really proud about the fundamental transformation of our company from a early stage R&D startup to a quite organized, structured company that has proven that its technology and its organization capabilities are ready for first industrial implementation and taking this big path from lab to fab earlier this year with our first Chinese industrial project. So this is a key milestone that was achieved not just because of the technology development, but also because of the organizational transformation that gained the trust and win the recognition and the credibility in the eyes of our industrial partners, who are not just betting on technology, but also betting on the ability of the technology partner to deliver services and products in a sustainable way. So that's what was achieved. However, the key financial goal, which is 100 million Polish zloty, which we expected 3 years ago, we expected we will be able to deliver already next year. We see that we need to postpone it by 2 years to the year 28. Why? This is because we see what is the dynamic of our first industrial implementation. And on one hand, this project is going well. We're delivering exactly to the needs of our customer. But on the other hand, we see that the uptake of the new orders inside of this project is slower than we initially expected and assumed for our prognosis. So what we can do as a company, we can deliver our technology development to the specification of our customers, and we're really focusing on making this happen. What we do not control, and that's totally beyond our scope of control, is the decision-making process of our end customer, not only the automation partner who is buying the equipment from us, but the ultimate user, the big player in flat panel display or semiconductor industry. We're not controlling their decision-making process. When will they be ready to move to the next generational node of the technology that requires our precision? And we're becoming now a little bit more conservative in terms of how quickly will the uptake of industrial projects contribute to the significant growth of revenue. And that's why we decided to announce update of the strategy and announce that the strategic goal of 100 million Polish zloty is definitely still in our reach. And we believe this is totally not the cap of what we can achieve, and we will continue growing beyond that. But the ramp-up phase of growing this revenue will take longer than expected, and that's something that we are postponing to the year 28. At the same time, we maintain our activities around engaging in new geographies, so presence in leading market will be extended. You remember we have already operations in Boston to cover US operations, but we want to have also further demo centers and or close collaboration with local partners in other geographies. We will grow the number of industrial projects that will be ultimately implemented. Now we have one at the ultimate industrialization phase, and there will be multiple by the end of 28. And we're also growing and incubating the project of DPS Plus, which will contribute to the revenue growth. And it also unlocks new customer types for us around automotive and around defense industry, which can also contribute to our ultimate growth.
We have gone through a period of intensive investment. As a result, we have significantly strengthened XTPL in 3 key areas: sales, production, and R&D. We have strong business development team, subsidiary demo center in Boston, US, bigger distributors network, and more intensive activity at the international conferences and events. In production area, we increased production capacity. We doubled the production rate of DPS devices. We are also talking with the subcontractor from the Europe, and in R&D, we are still working for the new products as a DPS Plus and multi-head module. The basic parameters that the company intends to achieve in 2028 remain unchanged. Our goal is 100 million in sales revenue with EBITDA margin of at least 20%. And the sales structure is also without the significant changes. Due to the fact that we don't expect to reach break-even in 2026, we're identifying the needs in terms of financing the capital gap. Today, we are considering several possible financing paths. We are in dialogue with financial institutions and are applying for grants in selected programs. We are also seeing growing interest from investment funds specializing in new technologies, which may play the role of non-industry strategic investors. And we are also considering the option of issuing shares on the market. And finally, it will be probably a combination of possible solutions applied in varying degrees and different times. And the first decisions you should expect in fourth quarter 2025.
So in terms of the outlook for the next years, how we see particular business lines developing. So in terms of our industrial implementations with the UPD modules, we expect next year to have additional projects reaching the full implementation stage, and this will lead to us selling roughly 100 UPD modules in the year 28. In terms of Delta printing system, we believe this product will have a much less steep, much more moderated growth acceleration. The market for this research and development tool is more limited. So we expect next year to sell up to 20 of these systems, and over the years and up to 28, probably up to 30 systems per year. Now, the Delta Printing System Plus, DPS Plus, our expectation is that still this year we can take in the first orders, but the delivery of the first systems will be scheduled for the year 26, and by the year 28, we expect the market for this product to be up to 20 systems to be delivered, installed, and revenue recognized in the year 28. And all of these systems, independently of the business line, will consume inks, will consume cartridges, will consume nozzles. So they will generate, each of the systems will generate upselling of our consumable materials, which XTPL is supplying. So finally, summarizing our meeting, we are really excited about the development of this first industrial project in terms of the technological adoption at the end customer and real implementation of the technology at the production line. This is what makes us happy and makes us strong to think about the success of the future industrial projects. At the same time, because we recognize this project uptake or the dynamics of how quickly the next batches of our products, of our UPD modules will be ordered and implemented by the customer, we need to take more conservative approach to our prognosis of the revenue growth. And that's why we decided to announce the update of the strategy to move the year, the goal, our financial goal of 100 million zlotych revenue from the year 26 to the year 28. We're happy to take your questions, and thank you for your attention so far.
Thank you. We can now proceed to the Q&A session. There are already a few questions, so we can start maybe from the first one. Can you provide the ramp of revenues and earnings over the 2026 to 2028 timeframe?
So we're definitely not expect. So first of all, we're not giving you a clear maybe numbers in terms of revenue growth, but what you can expect is that the Delta printing system, which is the key revenue driver over the last year, will slightly grow, but it will not be a very steep slope. In terms of UPD modules, last year we delivered 2 systems to our customers. This year it will be closer to 10, and there will be a more aggressive growth over the next 2 years, up to 100 systems in the year 28. Still closer to a hockey stick rather than a linear growth, because please understand that each industrial project has its ramp-up phase, and we're not seeing that already over the first year there is a huge jump in systems that will be implemented in each industrialization project. It's a little bit more flattened. In terms of Delta printing system guidelines, so the next year probably few systems, less than 10. That's our expectation. More than 1, less than 10. Probably that's the best we can do today. And up to 20 systems in the year 28. So a little bit steeper growth than the DPS sales, but also not as steep as for the UPD modules. And the high performance materials sales will be growing steadily. But as the revenue is growing, so the relative contribution probably will, which is now roughly less than 10%, I think today, it will grow up to maybe less than 20% by the end of 28. And then if you think about the slide we shared here, what is the contribution of each of this product to the goal of the 100, and taking into account my long explanation about the different growth of different business line, that would probably give you some guidelines for the numbers, but we're avoiding to give a number for the revenue in 26, 27. That's still difficult for us to assume. We don't expect break even next year. That's what Jacek also mentioned. That's why we recognize there will be a funding gap for our operations in the volume of 15 to 20 million Polish zlotys, so 3.5 to roughly 5 million euro. And we have multiple processes that we're evaluating and potentially executing to close this funding gap and to enable us uninterrupted operations.
Thank you. Moving to the next question. Thank you for your presentation. Is the main bottleneck for sales on the demand side, or are there supply side concerns as well? To be more precise, if you receive 100 million Polish zloty worth of orders in 2026, would you be able to deliver on them?
Yes, okay. So maybe the second part of the question is, if there is an order, can we really deliver? So yes, to the extent of that the order is based on our existing products, obviously. Yeah? And the existing products is Delta printing system and the UPD modules. Now, the Delta printing system production is in its final stages really final stages of a longer process of moving it to the external contract manufacturing partner. So by the end of the year, and actually quite earlier, we will have ultimate decision about the contract manufacturing partner signed, and that makes a quantum jump in our production capabilities. We don't need to scale them internally, but we have an external partner who has the capabilities and capacity and the processes in place to help us deliver as many systems as would need to be delivered to deliver the 100 million Polish zloty revenue. So that's this part we have covered by external contract manufacturing. UPD modules for industrial manufacturing, for industrial implementations, are going to be manufactured in-house for the next maybe year or so until we get the level of number of systems that are being purchased by the market that it makes sense for us to outsource the manufacturing. Ultimately, please think about XTPL as not a heavy manufacturing company, but rather technology company which wants to deliver its products to the customers, but doesn't need to produce all of them. And we want to surround ourselves with manufacturing partners and keep the technology development, technology protection in terms of IP know-how and direct engagements with the customers. And in terms of production capabilities, we will keep only kind of pilot and ramp up production phase of new product for the first year or maybe 2 years of a product lifetime. And then when the product matures, we will outsource the manufacturing, and we have a network of partners identified who will support this process. So we don't see this as a limiting factor, our internal capabilities. Much more, there is a market maybe bottleneck in terms of the window of opportunity for some of the projects that we're targeting is not yet fully opened. Please consider that we are bringing a totally new technology to the market that enables much higher precision in dispensing, in printing. And in many projects, in many products, the current generational node of this product does not yet require this precision. And the market will not buy a solution that is not yet a must-have. Nice to have is especially a new technology, which is just nice to have. That's not a strong enough argument to move forward with the implementation. There needs to be a desperate need on the customer side to move to a new technology like ours and not to select the old vendor, the old trusted vendor who was supplying their technology in the past generations. So we're betting on this technology generation node change in semiconductors, in flat panel displays, in PCBs, and now coming defense and automotive industries that will generate a growing interest in our technology. But still, we're rather in the earlier days of this window of opportunity being open rather than at the end phase where it's already closing. So that's maybe my answer is we're still mostly limited by the fact how quickly the market will move, and that's why we need to postpone this goal, which was a very ambitious goal of achieving 100 million Polish zloty in the year 26. Keep in mind, we announced this goal 3 years ago at a much different stage of our development, and now we do recognize that this will take time. And I dare to say that XTPL is a little bit less a bottleneck rather than the internal dynamics and the internal decision making of the big players to move forward to this technology node.
Okay, thank you. And now the Delta Printing System Plus question. Those systems are roughly twice as expensive as the Delta Printing systems. Are the gross margins the same, or does the Delta Printing System Plus have better gross margin? If there is a difference, can you give us an idea of what the gross margins are?
Yeah, maybe we can start with the gross margins for DPS, the average gross margins.
The average gross margin is 70% after the bill of material and direct labor. So DPS Plus should be close to this level. It means that the more cash because the 70% from the 200 and from the 400 means that the more cash for each DPS plus.
Yeah, so exactly like Jacek said. So please assume that, let's say, the average DPS margin is 70%, 70%, and it should not be a much different number based on our expectations today on the DPS plus. Of course, it might be that the first product we will deliver to the first pilot customers, there might be some special price for the market entry, but in terms of the commercial discussions we have with the first tentative customers is to test the waters with the price that enables such a margin of roughly 70%. And this is, to be honest, not very unique or not very much different than what we see on the market in terms of equipment, supplying equipment to a more innovative applications. Probably a little bit lower margins, closer to 50%, 50% in a little bit more mature equipment markets where there's a little bit more competition. We will see ourselves a little bit more advanced, a little bit more outstanding there. So that's why we believe 70% is quite possible to be sustained also for DPS plus.
The next question, where do you see the competitive advantage of your product in the defense industry?
Yeah, so here again, maybe how the story for us works with defense industry. It's not historically our comfort zone. It's not historically the industry that we very well understand, to be honest. So our role is to showcase our technology capabilities and wait for the incoming requests and inquiries and then respond to them. And what we hear from this incoming inquiries and responses from defense industry, but also from academia that has some relationship with defense industry, is that they see value in ability to print extremely high precision structures on a complicated optical elements. And you can think about maybe each camera module will have a glass or transparent three-dimensional lenses or domes, and printing a very complicated electronic shielding components on that is one of the interesting applications. Another application is where communication elements that wants to work with much higher frequencies to recognize a much higher precision elements for detection, like maybe radar detection, the antennas. To enable higher precision, there needs to be a higher frequency switching, and our printing enables much higher frequency switching than, for example, the classical technology of wire bonding. And there has been some research papers, for example, by Karlsruhe Institute of Technology in Karlsruhe in Germany, who acquired Delta Printing System a while ago, and now their research group specialized in high frequency systems is now testing our technology for these applications. We're really excited about their findings and about their developments, and we want to support them as much as possible. But it is being recognized by experts on the defense industry side. They see these results, and then they come to us to think about this type of applications. So that's mostly around advanced electronics. I'm not talking about the ultimate product. Is it going to be a radar, or is it going to be a part of a missile, or is it going to be a part of signal communication components? This is where we're not, to be honest, invited into this type of deeper discussions. There are non-disclosure agreements in place, and we understand that we're not, let's say, allowed to have all the insights there. So this is the field in terms of manufacturing. There is another area which is more about repair, and the general tendency that we recognize in the defense industry is to bring multiple repair and replacement capabilities closer to the battlefield. So if there's a part of machinery that is wrong, maybe it is faulty, then before the new part is being produced or shipped from some localization far away, there will be some local, almost on-site printing, replacing manufacturing capabilities that defense industry is considering to be installed closer to the battlefield. Additive manufacturing as printing of different systems, it makes sense in that respect, and additive manufacturing for microelectronics, that's where we play a role, also makes sense, because then you just need a relatively simple system that can be fitted into one truck, or multiple systems can be fitted into one truck and be moved, and you don't need to move a whole factory with multiple systems to enable such a on-site repair. So these are the trends that we see are coming to us. We want to respond to them to the best of our abilities. But again, I repeat, this is mostly the inquiries from the market coming to us, rather than us giving the clear value proposition definition. This phase will come later, when we'll be more educated and we'll be more capable of targeting customers in these markets by ourselves.
Moving to the next question, do you have ongoing discussions already with potential strategic partners? What size would a potential stake are we talking here?
Yeah, so after XTPL delivered the first industrialization of its technology, so delivered a pretty fundamental milestone for a technology organization like ours to go from this initial laboratory development to a real market deployment, we started to pop up, let's say, on the radars of some of the investors who are focused on technology investments. We're not talking now about our interactions with corporate VC arms of bigger corporations that would maybe consider an investment in a company like ours. We are mostly talking about investors, specialized investors, who are not part of a bigger customer group, because we still don't feel like it will be the best option for us to partner with one of the customers, because that may close the doors to other customers, to other verticals where XTPL wants to grow our platform technology, which can have multiple market entries. So it's too early to talk about the stake. It's too early to talk about any details of such transactions. But the idea we have, or the strategy we are following, is we're not going to lose, let's say, control of the company. We're not going to do a first step for maybe a two-step M&A type of application. We believe the company still has a lot of room to grow and to build value for the shareholders. So if there would be a strategic investor, it would be mostly financial strategic investor without any control position in the company.
Thank you. Which sector do you expect to be the most relevant one for your Delta Printing System Plus machines? Do you expect defense to play a big role for this system, or is Delta Printing System enough for those kind of applications?
Yeah, for the DPS Plus, the most relevant market are advanced packaging in semiconductor industry, so the back end of the semiconductor component manufacturing, and defense applications, where it's not about millions of products being manufactured every year, but it's more about thousands that are very highly specialized, and they require this high mix, low volume manufacturing capability that the DPS Plus will enable. DPS is not a production tool, is really a research and development and early prototyping type of tool, but it's not designed to support more professional output of manufacturing. It has a very limited automation capabilities. I'm not saying that DPS is not the right product. It's a great product, but mostly for this innovation phase of and creativity phase. But if you want to do a more structured batch production, then you need a more automation machine, which is more complicated and that therefore also more expensive, and that will be the Delta Printing System Plus.
Thank you. The last three questions I see. The first one, can you provide any details on the capacity of produced displays with your 6 UPT modules in some kind of units, for example, square meters?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I really cannot give you a clear response to it. the way I can position it is maybe that if you're thinking about a one line of advanced smartphone display or a smart watch display of very high pixel density. So for one type of smartphone, one type of smartwatch, for example, to cover the production capacity of such one product for one end customer, we will probably need to deliver roughly 50 plus minus maybe 20% systems to the end customer. And then there are multiple display manufacturers, and each of them have different product lines for different end application, different smartwatches, different smart glasses, different smart phones. We're not talking here about big screens, because if you are making a big screen, then each pixel can be also big. For us, our job is to help the ones who are making small screens where each pixel is very small as well. So this is maybe, a little bit complicated response, but we don't have insights to what is the output of how many screens per hour are going through our machine. But it's a growing number because each of our modules that is being sent to the customer is ultimately getting into the production line. So I would say every month there's probably a growing number of products out there globally that has already been touched by XTPL technology in a good way.
Thank you. Great. Now, how big of a margin of safety is incorporated in contrast to your previous strategy?
That's another great question. So first of all, I think we all recognize XTPL is still rather earlier stage deep tech company rather than a very mature organization with a more much more market clarity and much more execution clarity than you would expect from much larger organizations. So of course there is in our strategy a degree of uncertainty. That's part of the game, but it is much smaller than it was in the initial strategy that we announced. We announced our first strategy 3 years ago, before first industrialization, before all the learnings and findings that we got from the market when going through this process. So definitely the new updated strategy is built already on much more market insight, much more market know-how, the traction numbers that we see, and also growing pipeline of projects that reduces our risk that if one project for some reason falls out, that we don't have a kind of a backup project to cover for that. So in that respect, the uncertainty levels are much lower, but there will always be uncertainty in both ways. It can also mean that there could be positive acceleration of the commercialization, and to be honest, we cannot exclude that at all.
Mm-hmm. And the last question. Greetings from Switzerland, and thank you for the presentation. Love the company, and I'm rooting for you. Do you have any feedback from the Chinese customer regarding the implementation?
Yes, so we send regards back to Switzerland from Poland, and thank you for kind words. Yes, we are in a very close contact with our customer in China. The communication channels is very intense in a good way, and this helps us to learn a lot in the process. So what we're finding and what we're learning is that the customer is happy with the solution, that the technology is working not just in their prototype machine, but also in the production line. There are other vendors who are hearing about it and who are coming to us because they hear good things about XTPL. And the example of that is the new project in China that we announced earlier today. So it's a totally independent project that in a very short period resulted in our customer gaining enough trust into the technology that he exposed his customers to our technology, and now he wants to build a prototype industrial machine based on our technology, and for that reason he purchased the first UPD system from XTPL. So that's a good thing, and we expect more of this positive word of mouth. So other customers talking to each other and hearing that XTPL is not just interesting new technology, but it's an interesting new technology that delivers performance in the industrial reality. And believe me, for new material science technologies, the jump from R&D, from lab to fab, is a pretty painful and long path, but we made this jump and we made this path, and we are now a stronger organization to serve other customers as well.
This concludes our today meeting. Thank you all for your participation and questions. I also encourage you to visit the investor relations section of XTPL website. And I leave the last word to the CEO, Mr. Filip Granek.
Yes, thank you again for joining us today. I encourage you to track also our publications on our social media, especially LinkedIn, where some additional context to our activities sometimes given in a more soft way. So please also find some information on our developments there. And yeah, thank you again for participating today. Thank you.
Thank you.